Okay, welcome back to the Clinician Voice. I'm your host, Dr. Robin Geiger, and we have a great interview lined up for you today. I'm excited to introduce our guest. Dr. Safiya George currently serves as president of the University of the Virgin Islands, where she leads with vision, authenticity, and a deep commitment to advancing opportunity through education and community impact. A nationally recognized nurse leader and scholar, she holds several prestigious fellowships and brings a significant history as a nurse executive in higher education operations, grounded in equity, mentorship, and developing future leaders. And with that, please join me in extending a very warm welcome to Dr. Safiya George.
Thank
Welcome,
you,
Dr.
Dr. Geiger.
Thank you for joining with us. We know that your time is precious. We're looking forward to our conversation today. And I'd like to start by just kind of telling you the feedback that we've been getting from our audience is that these sessions are like mini mentorship episodes, that they can kind of get a peek into the different career pathways. And it also helps leaders align best practices. So we like to start at the beginning. We want to just hear more about you and how you became a nurse and how did you your early experiences kind of shape where you are in your career.
No, absolutely. So I started my nursing journey at the University of the Virgin Islands. When I was in 11th grade, I was awarded an early admission scholarship to the University of the Virgin Islands straight out of St. Croix Central High School. And when I was there, I, of course, was faced with the challenge of selecting a major at 15 years old. And so my mother had always wanted to become a nurse. I envisioned wanting to be a doctor of physical fitness and nutrition, is what I called it, because I love holistic health in general. And while there, I met a woman who was a travel nurse who was coming back to complete her nursing program. I think she might have been an LPN and wanted to become a registered nurse, RN, and talked about travel nursing and living on a sailboat and never having to worry about being unemployed. And I thought, you know what? That sounds exactly like what I want to do. I want to help people, improve their health, also, see the world. So I enrolled in nursing at the University of the Virgin Islands at age 15. And within 2 years, completed my associates in science and nursing, and then did another 2 years on the St. Thomas campus at the same University of the Virgin Islands and completed my bachelor's of science in nursing. And then, of course, went on to do my master's of science in nursing at Emory University and my PhD as well at Emory University, specializing in HIV and oncology as an adult nurse practitioner, and then, later on HIV research, and then did my postdoctoral fellowship at Duke University at the intersection between theology and medicine or religion and health.
Wow, that's wonderful. So you've come full circle back to a university where you started at the age of,
Exactly.
did you say 15? I know I heard that
I
right.
did.
Wow, impressive. Thank you for sharing that because, I think others need to hear these different pathways. And you're the youngest that I've heard so far that I've interviewed
Mhm.
starting college and sticking to it and going that pathway. That's
Absolutely.
wonderful. Well, if we could continue on and just hear more about your journey and how it evolved from nursing practice, you're a nurse practitioner, all the things into academic leadership and eventually into the role of university president. It
Right.
just, wow.
Yeah. So I love nursing practice as
Mhm.
well as research, as well as education. So all three I really equally love. And then found a new love of administration. And so while I've continued my educational pursuits, I've always maintained an active practice, whether it was working on an oncology unit, taking care of patients at night after having attended school during the day. Later
Yeah.
on, working as a nurse practitioner in private practice in a number of different types of clinic, internal medicine or urgent care type centers. And then, of course, ending up as a nurse educator and really falling in love with teaching students at the undergraduate level as well as the graduate level. And nursing administration started somewhat when I was at Emory University and was helping to lead the adult nurse practitioner primary care concentration and really loved that. And then was later recruited to the University of Alabama to help lead up their research. I'm a nurse scientist, I'm a data geek, I love research. And so that was an opportunity for me to really mentor nurses to become well-rounded nurse researchers, successfully applying for and winning grants, especially at the federal level as well as the foundation level. And so that brought me lots of joy in helping to the University of Alabama achieve its institutional goals of becoming a Research One institution. And so I was able to help contribute and do that and significantly increase research productivity and awards at the Capstone College of Nursing. And then went on to become a dean at the Christine Eland College of Nursing at Florida Atlantic University, and thoroughly loved all aspects of nursing administration and working with faculty through a number of issues and supporting students and supporting faculty through research, thinking about institutional priorities and the role that nurses play in helping institutions advance, as well as helping to oversee the operation of two fairly qualified health centers, our community health clinics in West Palm Beach, and then also helping my leadership team oversee our memory disorder clinic and our adult day center across the college, our programs across 3 campuses. So that was exciting, which of course then brought me back to my alma mater and first love of the University of the Virgin Islands, with an opportunity to lead my alma mater as its 6th president and first alumni president. And so this has been an absolute joy, never a dull moment. But also nurses, right? We do what's necessary. We know how to assess, to triage, to implement, how to improve the livelihood of others. And so as a nurse, I am leading this institution with that lens, through that lens of nursing, and seeing everyone as my client or patient, and my responsibility of helping them achieve not always health outcomes, right? In many cases, they're learning outcomes, leadership outcomes, institutional outcomes, but still through those lenses.
Wow, wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. I sometimes I often go back when I listen, I find out just even more that embedded information in there. And I heard just a little bit of that you were also very athletic. Is that right?
I am. And so when I was a student here at the university many years ago, I was a lady buccaneer, where I played women's basketball. I was the
Wow.
point guard and the shooting guard and loved it. I also played in middle school as well as in high school. And now I'm an avid pickleball player and
Okay.
have taught the
All
students
right.
here how to play pickleball. And they have since started a pickleball club. We just had our first pickleball tournament on March 15th. And so I mentor students in my office through my Presidential Scholars Program, but also on the pickleball court, very informally. So
That's wonderful and commendable. We often forget about physical activity, especially when we're so busy as leaders. And I love that you're incorporating that in your role modeling. So
absolutely.
amazing work.
Yes.
As we move forward, I mean, we all go through. You described a lot of different transitions. Well, not a lot of different, some significant transitions in your career. What challenges did you face along the way as a nurse and a nurse leader? And what lessons kind
Yeah.
of, yeah, what did that
Great
teach you?
question. I think that one thing that I had to teach others is that although we are nurses and we value our nursing profession, that there's a big wide world out there, and that we, I think we gain more when we look at things through interdisciplinary lens, right?
Right.
That we learn from and have a symbiotic relationship with our colleagues, so healthcare colleagues, or even across university institutions, across disciplines, right? that
Mhm.
cross-sector collaboration. The Robert Johnson Foundation, who I really admire and value, talks about a culture of health framework and the importance of cross-sector collaboration. And so for me, when I was an interdisciplinary research leaders fellow of the Robert Johnson Foundation, the lesson that I learned the most was the importance of cross-sector collaboration. So all the factors that we think about um, that exist, but that we don't own as nurses. For example, housing and
Mhm.
transportation, right? We don't own that. We own
Right.
healthcare. We may not own that, but we know that housing status affects health, for example. And
Mhm.
so opening my eyes to be comfortable in other domains. And through my projects, I learned a lot about housing and the ways in which it could impact health
Right.
for people with HIV in particular. Although as a nurse, I knew that right housing stability was important, but allowing
Right.
myself to enter that space, which was not my space, um,
Mm.
which we might see as the social worker space, right? But
Mhm.
recognizing that all of these domains have no specific owner, and that as nurses, I think we can own all domains and we can be part of it. Although we're not experts in every domain, still
Mhm.
feel comfortable stepping into those areas and having people alongside us who have the expertise and being comfortable in that. So, not allowing ourselves to stay inside of a box or stay at a bedside or stay just distributing medications or giving bed baths, right? Nurses are
Right.
so much more than what the world fully understands, but I think COVID showed them a lot of what
Right.
nurses are capable of. And even when I was at Florida Atlantic University, developing the nurse engineer program, right? I think I speak to so many nurses who have so many great ideas of, oh, if this equipment could only do this, or if this were better designed this way, or many of us complain about EMRs, electronic medical records, only if it
Right.
were done this way rather than how it's designed by the computer science engineers. Nurses have so much to offer. And we shouldn't limit ourselves. And so the intersection between nursing and so many other fields, data science, for example, we're paving the way. And I think once we don't limit ourselves, we can see that the world is indeed our oyster, and there's no ceiling to block us. So and that's been key. The challenge of not letting other people's boxes in which they put
Mhm.
nurses in limit us. So
That's true. And sometimes nurses do that, especially early on in education and learning and foundational principles. So I'm so glad that you're able to impact so many nurses at the inset, at the foundation where education starts. Awesome.
exactly.
That's wonderful. Um, there's so many things happening in the world right now. A lot of challenges, a lot of things coming at nurses left and right. What advice do you have for nurses who may feel overwhelmed? You know, we talk about burnout a lot and moral distress. How does your faculty incorporate those real world challenges for your nurse students?
I think it's important to remember what we learned and what we teach patients and what we teach others about self-care, right?
Mhm.
Everyone knows the adage that you cannot pour from an empty pitcher. I think everyone knows that. And I think as nurses, we pour all day, all night, always pouring into others, into our patients. But also, we know if you're a nurse, every family member, every friend, every neighbor is going to call us, right? With their questions
Sure.
about whatever it is. So
Yes.
we're always giving advice. People know that we're drawn to nursing because we're compassionate and caring. So they pull on that and expect that from us
Mhm.
always. But I think also providing self care to ourselves is very important so that our glass remains full, at least more than half full, so that we can continue to pour into others as we're refreshed and energized. And being gracious with ourselves that we're not perfect, and nurses also need caretaking, right? We can't always be the caretaker, and so whether it's mental health care, making sure that we're you know, going to our provider, whether it's a nurse practitioner or whomever, to seek care and make sure that we're engaging in preventive care as well as whatever we need to be addressing. Because, I think healthcare providers have a reputation of not being very good patients. And it's mostly because we don't take time, right, to care for
Right.
ourselves or to allow others to care for us. So I think nurses have a lot that on our plates that we're handling, and burnout is real, and moral distress is real. And so I think it's very important to pause, to develop good self-care habits, um, whatever it is, meditation, exercise, all of it.
Right.
Talk therapy with friends, colleagues, whomever. Spiritual
Mhm.
well-being, I think, is also important,
Absolutely.
whether you're
Yes.
religious or just spiritual, finding meaning and purpose in life through whatever um, gives you most meaning, and identifying what matters most. One of the things that I learned while I was at
Mhm.
Florida Atlantic University was the importance of caring science and really focusing on what matters most to
Mhm.
yourself, but also finding out what matters most to others. So there's a lot of opportunity for burnout out there, no matter what kind of nursing one is engaged in, but there's also a lot of opportunity for setting boundaries and setting
Mhm.
aside self-care.
Thank you. I couldn't have articulated that better. That's amazing to share. I think sometimes we forget, or I don't think we forget, but as leaders, we just keep going. And I
Mhm.
had the opportunity to sit with a system CNO who mentioned sometimes we, especially as women of color, feel like there's so much worth in just how busy we are instead of
Right.
just who we are. And that was very
Right.
important. So definitely what you just spoke is in line with that.
Absolutely. We can
How?
be better leaders
Right.
after we allow time for us to energize. So
Hmm.
having setting up boundaries, you know,
Yeah,
putting
boundaries. One
space on
thing.
our calendars for
Hmm.
reflection, journaling, whatever it is, sleep, all of it.
Sleep. Sleep, definitely. That should be number one. I know that you have a large group that you tend to, of faculty, administrators, all of the above. As far as nursing faculty, they have their own set of significant pressures. What do you see as most pressing challenges facing nurse educators right now?
Well, I think in light of the national and even global nursing shortage,
Hmm.
nursing faculty feel a constant pressure of trying to help, nursing students become nurses, and
Hmm.
not just graduate, but then the pressure of ensuring that their
Um,
students pass the NCLEX, right?
right.
So, and we know that we can never address the nursing shortage without first addressing the faculty shortage. So I know faculty across institutions feel the pressures of nursing faculty shortages, of an
Mhm.
aging nursing faculty workforce, and helping new nursing faculty get up to speed on the
Mhm.
now knowledge transfer and experience in terms of teaching, not just the clinical knowledge, but of being a very good nurse educator that many
Right.
times takes years to learn to do. So they feel those pressures, and they feel the pressures of the accreditation standards to make sure that, right, the nursing education that's being provided is top quality, as well as the pressures to also make nursing education enjoyable, um, keeping up with technology, keeping up with the expectations around AI and expectations around not just lectures, but flipped classroom and active learning. And so there are a lot of pressures faced,
Yeah.
while the pressures of institutional costs and returns on investment and
Mhm.
value of nursing education, which I think is widely accepted. But they're juggling a lot. They're maintaining a lot, as well as their own pressures to maintain their own licenses through continuing education, or whatever it is that they're needing to do to maintain those. So,
Wow. As a profession, where do you believe, and this is kind of a loaded question as far as just would love your perspective on just globally nursing support and leadership development and advocacy. Where do you believe that nursing can do better in terms of their own, you know, really giving into their own profession, their own development and advocacy?
yeah, I think over the years, um, globally, I think what has hurt nursing a little bit is the division. So, right? The division between the importance of a DNP versus a PhD, they're both great and both valuable, right?
Right.
So why are we comparing them? They're different.
Mm.
Also, the debates between the value of LPNs, RNs, then the debate between associates versus bachelors, the things that we spend time debating more
Right.
so than talking about the value of nursing as a whole,
Mm.
um, I think have hurt us. I think nursing, of course, is very rigorous, very
Mm.
science-based, critical thinking, all of those things. But I think more of a unified force and front, including in the US,
Right.
um, and the ways in which midwifery in some countries or places are different and separate from nursing in the US, that they're combined. I think more alignment.
Hmm.
If you talk to many people, people don't know the differences. What is LPN? What is RN? What is the difference between DNP? There's too much confusion outside of nursing because of the confusion that happens in nursing, to be honest. So
Mm.
if we align ourselves better, then I think there will be more value added to and attributed to nursing.
Hmm.
Um, when there's more unity within the profession, clearer
Right.
pathways, I think there's value in all of those, pathways and degrees, but perhaps a better way to articulate it and a better way to identify and articulate the value of all of nursing rather
Hmm.
than happening within the profession of, oh, okay, this is not value, this is less value, this is for
Right.
all the reasons. Most people are like, we just want a nurse. We want a
Right.
nurse to help. Yes, we understand that nurses are smart. And we as nurses should never disregard or downplay other nurses, right?
Hmm.
We know years ago it was, oh, nurses eat their young. And we eat more than just our young, so we need to stop it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And I think it's still happening, actually. So what I'm hearing collectively is that, it's getting better, but it's still happening out there. I agree. Alignment would be great, especially among all the associations. There's so many specialties and so many things, and everyone's competing in different conferences, and you can't attend them all. So it'd be great to have some more camaraderie that way as well. Okay, and I know we're getting close to our ending our session, but we have a couple more questions for you, just two more questions. And one is just wanting to hear a little bit more about what's happening at the University of the Virgin Islands. Like, what exciting initiatives or current developments are happening right now that you're really most proud of?
Oh my goodness. I don't know if we have all the time, but there's so much great
Take your time.
happening. I tell people that there's so much magic happening at UVI. The magic of
Wonderful.
UVI is real. We have
Okay.
a number of amazing students, amazing faculty, amazing staff doing a number of things across different areas. So I only have time to give you a couple examples. So, for
Okay.
example, we are most known for three of our programs: our program in marine and environmental science, business, and nursing. And it's not because of me that we're very well known for nursing. So I can't take that credit. But
Sure.
in marine and environmental science, we're doing great work in coral reef restoration throughout the territory, even in collaboration with the University of Puerto Rico, areas in New England, Woods Hole, areas in Florida. Also mangrove restoration, which has also implications for climate change and for
Wow.
how we are able to withstand hurricanes, for example. So a lot of work in that area, a lot of work on sargassum and how we're helping to address this global problem that exists.
Wow.
We're also top three in the world for technical diving. That's one of our bragging points. Sometimes we're top
Okay.
number one, sometimes number two, sometimes number three. And what technical diving is where we have discovered the best way to mix helium and oxygen to be able to dive much deeper than anyone else can when it comes to,
Wow.
right, scuba diving. So go more than 100 feet, right? 300 feet, I think, is what
Okay.
we're able to go, and maybe even more, I'm not sure. So lots of great advances in that area. We're also doing amazing work in the area of green technology and energy. We have a Caribbean Center for Green Technology where we're doing great work. We have a new renewable energy program. We also have, which most people don't know, a NASA telescope and observatory on our campus up on the mountain, which provides the clearest airspace, sky space in the US to be able to see a lot
Wow.
of things before other countries and other parts of the US see, because we have, right, it's an island. We don't have tall buildings. I think our tallest building is
Right.
maybe 3 stories, if that much. So, in the evenings, the skies are clear.
Clear view.
No
Wow.
skyscrapers, the skies are clear. You can see all the planets very clearly,
Mm.
shooting stars, all of it. So, there's a lot of great research happening there with other countries across the world. A lot of great discoveries. There was a grandma project. We got a prize for that. One of the Nobel Peace Prize, I think we shared with other institutions. So a lot of great, exciting work happening there. So from above the stars to under the ocean, doing amazing and
Wow.
great work. Also in the area of music, right? We have um, notorious, nationally acclaimed, internationally recognized musicians. For example, Dion Parsons, who does amazing work,
Mm.
as is very well sought after. A number of authors, artists, writers. Um, we're currently in the process of rebuilding our Reichel Center for the Arts, which has a very notorious and unique structure where acoustics are not really needed. The design itself allows you to hear the sounds from the beach, which are hundreds of feet away. So we're trying to rebuild that since the 2017 hurricanes. We're almost there, but still require a couple more millions
Oh,
in case anyone's looking for, is an arts aficionado and looking for someplace to
that's
contribute.
right.
And then on our St. Croix campus, we were one of the pioneers 20 plus years ago of aquaponics and hydroponics. And so people used to come here from China, everywhere, to learn how to do aquaponics and hydroponics, right? Where you use, fish and fish waste to then nurture the plants, that then grow and right? So that whole system, we helped to pioneer it many years ago. So right now we have new aquaponics, hydroponics facility. We also have vertical farming. I never knew vertical farming existed.
Wow.
So you see plants growing on a tall tower just out of these little pods from a
Mhm.
water irrigation system. And our folks are also learning how to use AI to trigger the watering and right technology to do these things, solar powered roofs, a number of different innovations. They're using jicama or doing research to use jicama to see if that can serve as a natural herbicide or pesticide. So all kinds of things that are way over my head, but I'm learning about. We have how many? We have 34 species of avocados on our campus, more
Wow.
than most other places or university. And we also have 16 species of sweet potato. So if you love sweet potato and avocados,
Yes.
come to the University of the Virgin Islands. And so much
Yeah.
more we're doing in the space of agriculture. We're
Mhm.
helping to support the Virgin Islands Agriculture Plan. Oh my gosh,
Wow.
there's so much. We're building biomedical sciences. We're in the process of developing a regional medical campus for a medical school. So much is happening. We just finished a new strategic plan. Go to our website. It's called Grand Momentum, www.uvi.edu. So a number of great partnerships also in the works. We work closely with our local agencies, private industries. We also have a research technology park where companies who have some aspect of technology, whether it's fintech or any other aspect using technology, where they can join our university research and technology park. Also comes along with tax benefits for those companies who want to grow here and be rooted here in the Virgin Islands. We also have the Virgin Islands Economic Development Authority, which also has opportunities for companies to become an economic development company. So there's so much potential. People coming from all over the world flocking to the Virgin Islands, which is America's best kept secret, America's paradise, right
Yeah, it
here
is.
where no passport is needed if you're a US citizen. So
Wow.
lots of great things happening that I don't have all the time to be able to tell you, but
No, thank you.
and we
That's
love to partner.
amazing.
We love to partner with organizations, institutions, entities. So if you have any interest in partnering, email me at uvipresident@uvi.edu. Happy to partner.
Absolutely, and I love it so much. I can't wait to share that also when we launch your podcast, all the
Mhm.
things. Before we let you go, and we know you're a very busy woman, before we let you go, is there any last words of wisdom or advice that you would like to give to nurses at any stage of their career, whether it's faculty, new nurses?
Yeah. So one thing that I've found over the years and as a leader is that the concept of courageous, caring leadership. And what that essentially just means is the intersection between courage, right? The courage to lead, the courage to make tough decisions, even if they're unpopular, as long as we know or you know that they're right. Between the intersection of compassion, right? Not being a snobby, highty-tighty, arrogant, um, dictator type of leader, but someone who's compassionate and helps push people to higher levels with care, with mentorship, with support. And then the concept of authentic presence, right? So, not faking the funk, being true to who you are as a leader. Hence why I am affectionately called by students Prezi, right? Because I am me and on the pickleball court, I am authentically me. I'm not stush. I am me. I am hitting the ball. I am jumping. I am authentic. I'm helping them. And so authentic presence also requires as a leader that you lean into others to identify what matters most to them, whether it's someone on your leadership team, whether it's a student, whether it's a colleague, and making time, valuable time for things that are not about metrics only or about being at the forefront or in the spotlight, but really being true and authentic to what matters most and what will help the most people, right? I'm also very big on the concept of social mobility and helping individuals to achieve self-actualization, right? Becoming their best selves, whatever that is for that person. We're each different, but also recognizing the power of education. And as we're able to achieve higher levels of education, that helps elevate that person individually, helps elevate their family, helps elevate their community, and could also help elevate more broadly. And of course, as you know, opens doors for a number of other possibilities. So I am a strong believer in that, as well as in the power of mentorship. And any person who has achieved success is because of the mentorship of one or several other individuals who believed in them and who helped open doors for them. So I believe that's key. And for that reason, I also believe it's important to give back.
And there you have it, everyone. Dr. George, it has been a pleasure to have you join us today. Many blessings to you as you continue to just, I want to say strengthen nursing, but you're strengthening higher education collectively.
Yes.
We appreciate all that you do, and we've enjoyed our
Thank
time
you.
with you.
It's been a
Thank you.
pleasure. Thank you so much.
And to our listeners, be well. And until next time, thank you for joining us on the Clinician Voice.